Hi students, today we are going to discuss NEET 2020-25 physics questions and answers. First question which is given in previous 2025. The first question is, a physical quantity is related to the four observations A, B, C and D as follows. So P equal to A cube, B square divided by C into square root of D, and percentage of errors in measurement in A, B, C, D are given 1%, 3%, 2% and 4% respectively. So here we need to find out what is the percentage error in quantity P is. So here that we can write it as a, so delta P equal to delta P by P into 100, that we can write it as a 3 times, and how much is the measurement error in the A quantity, and plus, and 2 times, if you look at this equation, and this gives P equal to A cube B square by C into square root of D, and here this you can write it as 2 into how much is the percentage error in the measurement of B, and how much is the percentage of error in measuring C, and here the square root of 2 is there, we can just take it as a 1 by 2 into the percentage of error in measuring D quantity, right? So we can just take like this, and here the A percentage and B percentage and C percentage and D percentage is given in this equation in the question, and we can just write it this in a T 3 into, so this percentage is nothing but 1%, and this is 3%, and this is the measuring C quantity is 2% and measuring D quantity is 4%. Just if you substitute over here, we can write in a 3 into 1 plus 2 into 3 plus 2 into 1 plus 1 by 2 into 4. If you simplify this, and you will get another 13%. So that will be the percentage error in measuring the P. See here you may think that this A is multiplied by B square, and and these both are divided by C and D. But why you are taking here this always plus in the sense? So these are all the percentage error in measurements. So the errors will be added up always, whether the physical quantities are multiplied or divided or square root. So here all the errors will be added up. So we have to think that here the 3 times, if it is given any physical quantity by power, the error will be multiplied by the power. And just you have to remember that whether it is divided or multiplied, you just go for the addition of errors. So we'll see the next question, so which is given 2025, and this is from the polarization. The intensity of the light transmitted when the polarized sheet placed between the two crossed polarites at 22.5 degree from the polarization axis of one of the polarite. So we need to find out what is intensity coming out from that polarite. See, you consider there is two polarites, and another polarite is placed between these two polarites at the 22.5 degree, right? You say here the light intensity coming from this incident thing here is I naught, and the light intensity coming out from this first polarite is I1, and the light intensity coming out from the second polarite is, you say, the I2. So we need to find out how much is the intensity of the I2. So we know that in the Malus law, here you can see this one, and I1 equal to I naught and cos square and phi. So phi is the angle between these two polarites. So here the first one, if you take this one, and I1 equal to, so I naught and cos square of phi is given here the 22.5 degree, that we can write it as 45 by 2, 45 by 2. The first equation we'll get here I1 equal to I naught cos square 45 by 2, and that same intensity will be passing through this second polar, right? So we'll see how much is the intensity is coming out of from there. So again we go for the Malus law. Now I2 equal to I1, this is the light intensity incidenting here, and I1 into cos square, so 90 minus 45 by 2. So 90 minus 45 by 2, and that we can write this one as a cos square 90 minus theta, that we can write it as a sine square theta by 2, and instead of I1 we can write it as a, see here we got to know I1 equal to I naught cos square 40 by 2, right? You can just substitute this one here, and then I2 equal to I naught cos square 40 by 45 by 2 and sine square 45 by 2, and here the sine, if you look at these two cos square 40 by 2 and sine square 40 by 2, and just multiply 4 by 4 in both numerator and denominator, and we can write I naught by 4 and 4 times cos square 45 by 2 sine square 45 by 2. So there is a formula says that sine square theta, we can write it as a 4 times cos square theta by 2 and sine square theta by 2. So there's a formula here, and for this one also, yeah, there's a formula here. So instead of this one we can just write it as a here the theta is now 45, we can write I naught by 4 sine square 45 equal to so here the 45 sine 45 is nothing but 1 by square root of 2. If you go for the whole square, that will give you 1 by 2. I naught by 4 into 1 by 2, that we'll get an I naught by 8. So this will be the answer, right? So here what you have to remember is, so what is the Malus law, and here the always light intensity will be varied with this equation I1 equal to I naught cos square of 5. Here when it is passing through this, and the intensity will be varied, that we need to take the incident intensity for the second polarized. So that way we have to do it. Thank you. Hi students, today we are going to discuss NEET 2020-25 physics